This is Michelle Williams, your Survey123 Jedi, and today we're going to build off of everything that we've built off of so far. I like to build on teaching you what we're going to do, but I also want to show you around the software a little bit every time. This is what your homework should look like, but with your questions. So for us right now, that could look like a CSI, crime scene investigation, maybe a utilities, inventory, site inspection, demolition site, things like that. Any of those things that are important to you, that's what we want to focus on specifically for you. I'm building something just kind of a willy-nilly kind of thing. I do fire footprint inspections for utility companies for BMPs. So BMPs are those fiber rolls you would see on the side of the freeway, but we do them inside of a fire footprint so that if a tree gets knocked down, it might be near a waterway, so we have to make sure that the hills stay in place and things like that. So that's what we're building today. Once you folks decide on your categories and you start feeling comfortable, we can start building this out to something that's more familiar to you. So let's see here. First, I want to show you what Survey123 will build for you. So we built this last week. And so in the folder, this is what Survey123 will build for you automatically. It just does it for you. So it's going to give you all the files to build Survey123. It's going to give you the Excel spreadsheet. It's going to give you an HTML. I think that's HTML. It's a link to the internet. I've never gone in there. I guess I could probably go in there and see what that looks like. Yeah, that's not helpful for us, but it tells the computer what to do. It also gives you a media folder, and in your media folder, it's going to be empty right now, but what you're going to fill that with is an image for your logo, for the thumbnail, that's going to be Survey123, also your CSV files that you're going to pull data, and that's a little bit further in our training, but that's where you're going to put it. Also, what you want to know is once in a while, that media folder won't get built. And the reason for that is maybe you're linking to a hosted feature service. And if you're doing that, sometimes it forgets to put the media folder in there. So just write a media folder, but it needs to be spelled just like that. Actually, that was a little while ago. They might have fixed that since the last time I found that out. But something to know just in case it doesn't show up. Let's see, so the survey tab you're familiar with. This class tab is just my notes on class. That's not going to ever be provided for you. Keep in mind that you can put extra tabs in here for things like maybe you had a meeting with your client and you're trying to figure out in the future, you're trying to figure out what's important in a dashboard. You can put a tab in here and you can dial in those notes for yourself. What's great about that is if somebody else is in your folder or in here in Survey123, they can see how your mind works, and they can quickly go through and say, oh yeah, that makes sense. And they can, dial in all that information because it's all right here. Here's your choices. So these are just some little choices that we did. That's your drop-down menus. Just a reminder, your labels they're free-flowing, whatever you want to put, spaces and symbols and things. Your name field, you can only do collapsed words and an underscore. So I'd like to do my 2 words. I like to make those camel case. So that's your first, capitalize the first letters of your words. Settings. This is a great place to add notes also if you ever needed to, because the only thing the computer reads is that first line up there at the very, very top. So sometimes I would put some code in here or a note, things that are important to the project. This is also where you see how this says survey title not set. This says survey title not set. Now we can change that. So if we wanted to say, I just do this just because it makes things easy for me. And we can change this at any time. Say save. So weekly, we could go in here if that was something we wanted to do. and we can change that. We can, and you can just add to it. I don't know why you would do that, but just know that that can be changed at any moment. And then we have version, and version's great because as the versions get deeper and deeper, Survey123 has a new tool in it. It used to be that you'd have to rebuild them. When they were older, you'd have to rebuild them from scratch because there was a lot of new fields and new technology and the new versions. Right now, they have a tool now that says update your XLSForm template. And what that does is it'll crunch all the information and it'll look for the columns to make sure the columns are there. It'll make sure that the formulas are there. So this was just added, I believe, this revision. So if you've got older surveys and you're looking at this, just because you're building them in 318 doesn't mean they are 318. You could have one from 314 that you've never realized that it was that old. So go in here and you can get that updated. These are your types. We talked about that before. Your appearances, we haven't talked a whole lot about that yet, but we'll get into that. Once we start going through our types, we'll start working through these. These are field types, and I don't touch them. These are something that happens when you publish your survey. So Esri puts these in for you. You don't have to touch them. These are taken care of by those types, so don't touch those either. These are your references. So what we're doing here is these are your date and times. And what's great about that is they put them on top because we need them the most. And then just some other things that we're going to go through eventually. So here's your code, some of your operators you can use. If you love HTML like I do, know that not all HTML transfers over to Survey123. You will get error messages for certain things, but it still works. So just know, I think center is one of those. I like to center my text and it'll give you an error message that says Survey123 won't do that, but it will. So, and it hasn't broken anything. So keep that in mind. If it says that, you might be able to find something else up here that'll help you out. I haven't gone into a whole lot of these down at the bottom, and that's why they're at the bottom. And then here's your reserved words, and we talked about that, I believe, last week. Don't use any of these words in your main field, because if you use those words, those are words that the computer uses, and it gets very confused, and it'll give you an error message. So if you want to use the reserved words, put another word with it, and that'll fix it. All right, that was fun. Let's see. So what I want to do is I want to publish this survey. This is our one that we did last week, because I want to show you how easy it is to update it as we go. And then I also want to show you how to break it so that you don't have to break it. So there are some things we should do first, and I'm just gonna publish it, but I'm going to show you. You can add a thumbnail. Like I said, we can put that in the image. You can this is your title. Don't change the title once you publish it. It gets a little confusing. At least it did in the last rev. I guess I have to try that. We can try that in here sometime. And then there are a few things that you would want to do in here. I always require updates to everybody, just because then I know that they have everything going on it correctly. And then sent folder and inbox folder. I always turn the sent folder off because it's a little confusing. When I turn the inbox on, anything in their sent folder will never come down from the cloud. So I always turn the sent folder off because I always use the inbox. So hopefully that will help you. We're not going to use the inbox right now because we don't need it. And there's some other things down here. We will get into those, so don't worry about that. So let me go ahead and go back here. I'm going to publish this. There's a few things in here. So you have options, and I always enable sync. I don't know why it's turned off, but it is. Enabling sync makes sure that when your end users go out into the field and they are away from Wi-Fi, that the computer knows to take all their data and hold it in a folder. It's like an outbox, I think is what it's called. If you don't turn this on, You can turn it on in the cloud later, but why do that? Just do it all now. Oh, I can see, Kevin, you have a question. What can I help you with?
Yes, hi. I had an experience with a um fire hydrant data collection exercise where I had sync turned on, at least I believe I did, and some of the folks who were collecting data, the community they were in, they didn't have good data reception, internet connection. However, and I showed them how to work offline with it. However, when they got back home, and they synced the data, all of the locations moved to their house.
Oh,
So I
okay.
was trying to figure out why that may have happened, or and what might be a workaround for that.
That is very strange. Has that happened in 318?
No, no, this was probably like 315 or 314, something
Okay.
like that.
I think that was a problem. So what I would do is go into that tool set and update your surveys to the 318 and republish them and see if that fixes your issue, because that was a big issue. That's why I was wondering if it had happened lately. I think let's see. Yes, make sure that that's not happening in 318, because I think that sounds really familiar to me. Let me know. And then, because I think we got ours fixed, we haven't had that issue lately. So let me know. And if it's still an issue, I will find out what we did to change that. And you can ping me offline too. If it's during a work week, you can email me. Um, and then when I get off work, I can come over here and figure that out for you.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome. So we're going to enable sync. And for that reason, that's going to be your offline use. We can also come in here to analyze. And I only have one thing that's informational, and that's okay. When you're ready to look at that, come up here to this SQ, it's an Excel file. So you can click on that. Had I clicked on it? There it goes. So here it is. And I did that on purpose. So instance name is when you have your inbox and you pull down the data, it formats the sentence exactly how you want it. And I haven't set that up yet because we're not there yet. So that's okay. That's not gonna affect us. So I'm gonna close that. So anything critical, you're gonna have to change. Warnings, might want to change it. Informational, you can if you want to. So that's how that works out. So we're gonna close that, and I'm just gonna publish my survey. At this moment, if you ever get the little red bar that says do not go any further, otherwise you're going to wipe out all your data, stop and figure out what you did. We're actually going to do that today. Okay, so everything's in the cloud. I'm just going to ask you to trust me on that because I know we have 15 minutes to go. So let me just continue, and then I'll show you everything on another day. Let's see, just checking my notes. Okay, we can go forward. All right, so this is what we have. We have our project category. Okay, so we have text, we have integer, we have a select multiple, and a date. So today we want to go in and we want to add all of these extra fields or extra types. And we're going to right mouse click and use the 1, 2, 3 values, because otherwise we're going to get those ugly errors. And these are some notes that I have, so I'm just going to write them in here. Notes are great in the hint file because hint's not really important, especially at this moment, because it's just a hint. It's something that's going to show up. Like the labels are going to be a bigger text and the hint is going to be a smaller text. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull those down, and I'm going to just put question 1. See if this will change. I don't want to go that far down. How about just drag this one? There we go. Question 1. Okay, I don't know why it does this question. Here, let's do this. It does not like going past, there it goes. I guess it doesn't like going past Q4. Oh, Q4, that's probably why. So then it read, okay, that makes a lot of sense. So if you're gonna do a Q for question, just put a couple extra digits in there. Say save. Group has no children. Okay. So what this is that's a beginning group and an ending group. So you have to actually have something in between those two. So what I'm going to do is for us, since we started this area here, I'm going to go to 13, see how I highlighted it, right mouse click and say insert. And I'm going to take this whole line, even though we only have 3 things filled out here, get in the habit of just clicking the whole 21. And the reason for that is someday down the line, you're going to have stuff out in the far end, and you're going to forget to copy that. So if you do it this way, then you'll have it all the time. So I hit Control X and then come in here to this first one, right mouse click. Oh, it didn't like that. Let's try again. How about just Control Copy? There it goes. Okay, I guess you have to do copy to get this little values. Click the values, and then it's going to tell you that you have a duplicate, so you can go in here and delete that. And then hit save. Now, when you hit save all the time, it's going to tell you when you break something. And if you do a lot over here and then you hit save and it breaks, you may not know where you broke it. So I just like to save consistently. And then coming down here, you see how this Q007 right here is bolder? That's because we have a group. A group doesn't do anything except make it visually different. It's not creating another schema. It's not creating anything. It's not related, no related tables. It's just a placeholder. So we could say something like, you could probably put, I don't know what you want to put in here, but inspector, how about site data or something, whatever that is. So here's your site data. And then here's all those extra questions that we have. And you'll notice that I have now next to time and date and time. We also did it up here with date. And I'm going to show you why. So, so we have, let's do time. And let's do date and time. Something like that. We'll do a save real quick so that we can see the difference. Okay, so here's our date of inspection. Here's our time. Here's our date and time. Just to make it really clean, I'm going to put the date of inspection down underneath this beginning group. So I'm going to try something. I'm going to do a Control X to, that one is a cut. And then right mouse click, and I think I can insert cut cells. There it is. Did you see how it removed that space from up here and just put it in here? So those are a couple little tricks on how to get around that cut and paste issue. If you cut and paste into, it does it for you. If you copy and paste, you get to do a couple extra things. Let's do a save real quick. I'm going to put this copy up here. Because I'm going to give you the spreadsheet today so that anybody who is just starting out, you'll have a place to start. Okay, so here coming down here, now you have your date of inspection, your time of inspection, and your date and time. Now I'm going to put this now in each of those. So I'm going to say, I just copied it, and we're going to go out to calculate. This is calculate on row K and say paste. And we're going to go down, paste and paste. I'm going to put the word calculation next to this so that you know where we're doing that, since it's a little far out here. Copy, paste, paste. And we're going to do save. And we're going to scroll down. All right. So this is what you're seeing. So here's your date of inspection. There it is, just the date. Here's your time, and here's your date and time. And you can change all of these. They're not hard coded, but using that now field, that's going to help you to dial in exactly this moment. And then give it, if you don't want anybody to touch that, you can say read only. Let me show you how to do that just real quick. And I'm going to show you something. Do you see how everything moves back and forth, and hint right there is taking up a lot of real estate? Hint is not that special to me. So something I like to do is I come in here under hint and I say data. No, what do I do? View. Come over here to split. So view up here and then split. Oh, split showed it on one side. And then split again brings it on this side. You want it on this side. And you'll notice that the line is underneath the header and on the side right here. That means that if you scroll up and down, you're going to see that top one. And if you scroll side to side, you're going to see those 3 rows, A, B, and C, or columns on this side. So then I save that. Oh, hit this freeze pane right here. And then you have one on the top and one on the bottom or side. And now what happens? This is much better, because when I come down here to date and time, now I can see everything. So we wanted to come over to read only. So let's see where that is. Looking at the top. Oh, I didn't think it was that far out. Let's see here. Oh, there it is. Read only. And you'll see that there's a down arrow. Click the down arrow and hit yes, at least for the first one, so you know how to spell that, because it's not capitalized. Hit save. And now the dates are grayed out. You can also hide these, but for right now, we'll just leave them there so that you know how to do that. I'm going to say save. See what other questions we have. Okay, so we got through those. Here's your GeoPoint, and GeoPoint is here. And it's telling me that it doesn't know where I am because I'm on my computer. So let's just say I'm in San Bernardino. I am not in San Bernardino, but I think my computer is based out of San Bernardino. So then you've got your GeoPoint. As long as it's not in a repeat, I like to put required for a GeoPoint, because otherwise it used to, it may not anymore, but it used to throw points in the ocean. We call that null island. That's at 0, 0. So required, yes. And when something is required, you're going to get an asterisk on that question. And so here's your asterisk. And that's going to force somebody, if they try to publish this and that's required, it won't let them unless it's here. For the most part on your phones, it's going to dial it in automatically. So keep that in mind. You're not really doing anything that's going to affect your end user unless it's inside a repeat, and we'll get to that at another time. We can talk about site location. Here we have a decimal. I'm just going to do this. Now, I don't remember. I don't think I need anything in those 2 fields. I'm going to tell you a secret about note. we're going to get an error message when we do something on the note, when we go to analyze it, because what happens is if you have text in the name field, it's going to create a field in the cloud. And that note, it's very clumsy. So don't put a question in there. We'll do it just so that we can get that error message. But for now, just know that if you keep that clean, there's no field, it's just a note. So that's a lot of fun. Let's see. So we have decimal. Let me do a save here so we can actually see what our questions are. Okay, so decimal. So we put a decimal in there. Up at the top, we have, I think we have integer. So we did our gate code, and you cannot put a decimal. I'm pushing the decimal. It won't let you do a decimal up there, just so that you know. A file. So if you click on the file, you can bring in whatever, if there's a file that you want to put in here, it'll put that in there. Also delete those. And then, oh, that's my note. So in the note section, it does have a note in there. The hidden field. Hidden is a legacy. It's something they brought over before they put it in a different location. So I don't put hidden here. I put hidden in appearance, because appearance, for some reason, it doesn't give me anything in appearance on hidden, because hidden doesn't have a drop down. But let's say that our date, we want the date to be hidden. We can hide it here. So that one is, let's see, that was the date of inspection. So here's your date of inspection when you save it. And it's really smart. Appearance will only give you things that are active in that type. So now we've hidden it. It still exists in the cloud, but the end user doesn't see it. Now, let me tell you a secret. If you're doing a grid theme, you want to hide it in type. That's the only time I found that you ever need that, because otherwise in a grid theme, it will hold space if you hide it in the appearance. So keep that in mind. That's a legacy, so I don't use it here unless you're doing a grid theme. Let me see, I'll put a note here for you. Oh, it's already here. So when I send this out to everybody, you'll have it. La la la, let's see here. I know we're getting close. We're close to time. Okay, so I'm gonna publish this one and show you. So it's already been published. If I republish, all the other data will be lost. Well, Michelle, why did that happen? Well, I believe this one is going to be because of this file. File and image, I believe, are going to create a brand new related table. So let me see. Let's do a save. See if that was it. Publish. Ta-da! And it's going to tell you need to add all those fields. First, though, I want to show you options. Nope, I want to show you analyze. And it's going to give us 3 informationals. And this is where it's going to tell you note 18 has a value in it in the name column. So that's that note section. And it tells you some information. It's really smart. Consider the hidden appearance and alternative, and that's in the hidden question. So we already talked about that. And instance name will show up later. So I'm going to take their advice and delete that. They save one more time. And publish. All right, we say yes, that looks beautiful. And you're done. Next week, we'll learn a little bit more about, we're going to go into repeats and take some time doing that. And that's going to be your that is going to be your related tables. Does anybody have any questions?